of bullying. Sakina, what's going on?
Yes, Leanne, indeed, another learner has been bullied by a fellow pupil, this time in Ulundi in KwaZulu-Natal. And the incident has been captured on cell phone, a video which has since gone viral on social media. Now, I must just warn sensitive viewers, in the video, one learner is seen viciously attacking a fellow learner and tearing at her clothes. So please note that this video can be upsetting to sensitive viewers. I believe we may not have that video available to you, but it is doing the rounds on social media and you may have seen it. But joining us now from KwaZulu-Natal via Skype is the province's education MEC, Kwazi Mshengu. Mr. Mshengu, thanks for your time. Welcome to Morning Live.
Morning, Sakin, and morning to the viewers of Morning Live.
So yet another painful, shameful incident. And perhaps, just looking at some of the discussions that have emanated as a result of this latest footage, can we just distinguish between what is normal peer conflict and what is bullying?
Well, what will be a normal peer conflict will not really result into this disturbing incident that we're talking about today. This is really an act of bullying, an act of humiliation, which really has no place in our schools and I believe in society, because the victim now will have a scar to live with for the rest of their life, and that is why the department we have also instructed our legal services to basically make contact with the people who are managing social media platforms like Facebook and Twitter, to see if this video cannot be removed completely from the social media space while we are acting also on the side of the department. And we did that precisely because, when things are posted on Facebook as a way of example, it can remind you even 4 or 5 years later. And we don't want the child to remain with that scar and that picture of abuse. Even when she's an adult, if this video remains on social media, it will always remind her of this unfortunate incident. Even her own kids will one day see how their mother was once abused by other learners in a schooling environment. So that is why we have taken that direction to say it should be removed completely from the social media, because it's really quite disturbing. But I must also indicate, Sakina, that as a department we have already acted. Last night we sent the letters of suspension for the 2 learners who were bullying the victim. Today they will be delivered to them, and we have also directed the SGB to conclude the disciplinary hearing within 7 days. We are also sending the psychologist to help the victim and the family of the victim, but also our legal services will be assisting the family to open the case of attack with an intention to do grievous bodily harm.
And I'm glad that the department has acted so swiftly and decisively, because it was extremely humiliating what happened in that video. And as you say, those scars will remain. And what the learner doesn't need is for that to come up time and time again and to live on the web, as it were. But Mr. Mshengu, how big is this problem of bullying in KZN?
Well, it's starting really to be a prevalent phenomenon. Some of the bullying incidents, they don't get captured in social media and all of that. But almost every month in the department, we are facing a case, or we have to deal with a case of bullying of one way or another. And we have acted swiftly in a number of incidences that have been reported to us, including assisting the families of victims to open the case. Some of the students have been expelled. But the unfortunate part of it is that when you expel a learner from one school, the law compels us again to find another school for this particular learner, so that we can ensure that the right to education is protected. It is for this reason, Sakina, that we are calling on communities, we are calling on families to also assist in shaping and molding up the behavior of their learners. Probably the manner now it's becoming so prevalent. It may be because of how violent our families, how violent our communities have become. And we are seeing that as a reflection through these learners.
Equally disturbing, MEC Mshengu, is of course the fact that this was recorded by another learner and others may have recorded it on their phones as well. So you have other learners standing by and recording this. Can we talk to that and the role of other learners when someone else is being bullied?
Well, we really expect other learners when they witness such incidents of bullying, not first of all to record them, but also to be able to intervene. I mean, there were boys learners who were also witnessing the incidents. I mean, they could have easily diffused that particular bullying incident that happened. So part of the things that we are going, the district director will be in school today to basically talk to all the learners and remind them about their behavior and what we expect of them as a Department of Education. But clearly, there is more that we also need to do from the department side to take up the campaign against bullying in a more vigorous way, so that we don't only react in the incidents of bullying that would have happened, but we need to be proactive and be able to take up a very vigorous campaign against bullying. But again, we want to emphasize that that campaign will not be successful if it is not embraced by families, if it is not embraced by community members, because these kids spend most of their time in their families and in their communities, and they witness some instances of violence in those areas, and probably they learn from such. They only spend about 7 hours in the schooling premises, and the rest of the hours they spend at home, they spend within their community. So for us to successfully mold their behavior, we need partnership of all stakeholders in the society.
But I think it would be wrong to send out a message, MEC, that says that children learn this behavior from home, because that's not always the case. In some instances, the parents of the children who are doing the bullying are not even aware that their children are doing this or are even capable of the sort of despicable behavior that usually accompanies bullying. And you spoke about psychosocial support earlier on for the victim and her family. What about other parents? Because ultimately, it would have to be an inclusive approach of the victims as well as those who are doing the bullying.
Yes, Sakina, we're not blaming all families. We're not putting the blame square on families. That's why I'm including community members, because families are located within community members. Some parents may not be aware of how changed the behavior of their kid has become, because some of the things these kids learn on the streets, they learn on different platforms of social media, they learn them from the surrounding, as it were. So that's why I'm not saying it's only the family members. Obviously, some of the kids are coming from abusive families, and we have had to deal with such incidences as the department to assist the kid to even to remove that particular kid from the family to a place of safety and all of that, because of the abuse from family members. So we are really calling on all the members. They normally say it takes a village to raise a child, and that's what the philosophy that we want to engender in our society, so that these kids are not only well behaved in school, but also as community members, so that even their future can be molded within the basis of solid behavioral change.
Well, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much for that update. And speaking there to KwaZulu-Natal Education MEC Kwazi Mshengu about the latest incident of bullying that has gone viral on social media. Very, very disturbing video of a child being actually abused and literally being stripped by another girl learner, but in the most vile way possible. And all I can say at this point is, please do not share it. As Mr. Mshengu is saying, they would be approaching the social media platforms to see if they can actually have that removed so as not to cause secondary victimization going forward. Right, we're going to take